The ninth heuristic is process automation. So we put it at the end to signify that it is important to first redesign the process, consider all the redesign options, and only once we have considered all those options and in some cases selected them for implementation, we should consider automating, because automating is much more efficient if it's performed on a process that has been streamlined according to all the remaining guidelines. Automation can take different forms. Modern technology allows us, for example, to have data sharing relatively easily by means, for example, of intranets or by means of packaged enterprise systems, be it customer relationship management systems, enterprise resource planning systems, or supply chain management systems. These systems increase the availability of information to process workers, therefore improving their visibility on the process and allowing them to make better informed decisions. They allow us also to avoid duplicate data entry and transportation, which, as we know, is a form of waste. We can also, in a given business process, consider redesign options that involve the use of network technology to replace physical flows, be it materials or paper documents, with information flow that could be in electronic documents. So wherever we have some paper document exchange, we should consider to what extent we can introduce an electronic document exchange. Now, one thing is to just use network technology to replace these physical flows with information flows. In some cases, we should consider going further and enabling self-service. So rather than talking about sending and receiving message and sending back messages, we should think about self-service. That can mean, for example, online forms for initiating an instance of a process, like for example, when a customer lodges an insurance claim online, or providing web data services that allows business partners or customers to retrieve information that they need in order to perform a given process. Like, for example, consider the case where we have an insurance company needing to communicate with a hospital in order to verify, for example, certain claims that customers are making. We could have the insurance company sending a request, for example, via email to the hospital for some documentation to confirm a certain medical condition, and then having the hospital reply eventually to that email. Or if there is a sufficient number of cases to justify it, we might consider actually opening up the database of the hospital with certain restrictions to the insurance company so that they can do this verification themselves. This, for example, allows to optimize a lot of business processes that involve data from government organizations. Instead of having citizens or businesses send requests for information to these government organizations and then wait for the reply, we can have these government organizations opening up their database with certain access restrictions, of course, so that these businesses, and in some cases these citizens, can actually access the data they need when they need it. Another enabler of process automation is tracking technology. Tracking technology allows us to identify and to locate materials and resources that are used in a process. Think about it, for example, as barcode scanners or RFIDs allow us to do. They allow us, for example, to track where a given prescription is in a prescription process. Talking about this prescription process at CVS Pharmacy, we could put a sticker on every prescription, and every time an action is performed on the prescription, the technician performing that actions could scan the barcode, and therefore we will know at what stage of the process every prescription is. Modern technology also provides us GPS and indoor positioning to locate, for example, equipment or resources that are used in the process. And we should consider using that particularly in processes that are performed over relatively large geographic areas. Another enabler of process automation is business rules technology, in particular business rules management systems. That allows us, in some cases, to capture the rules used to perform a decision or to process a certain piece of information in such a way that it is repeatable and it can be mechanized and performed by a computer. So whenever we have complex decisions, we should consider to what extent it is possible to capture the business rules that are used to make that decision and to automate them using a business rules management system. Finally, we shall consider automating the end-to-end business process. This is also called as business process automation per se, and it is concerned not with automating individual activities or not with managing individual resources within a business process or enabling individual interactions in the business process, but with coordinating the entire business process end to end and ensuring that all the interactions, that all the tasks happen at the right moment.